Hello, this is Gwen. Today is Sunday, December the 17th, 2017, and the time is about 11:50 p.m. I've been working on this recording for a while, so it's just late and I'm bound and determined to do it anyway. What I want to talk about is dreams and how what we dream works for us and we should pay attention to them because that's one way that our subconscious interacts with the unseen world and our ancestors. So there are things that they're trying to tell us, and they don't have a way to communicate. And since our firewalls are kind of weak when we go to sleep, that's one way that they reach us. And it's also a place that your subconscious can reach you a little bit better too. I got on the screen here the basic definition of lucid dreaming. All I did was Google it, lucid dreaming, right up here, and then I clicked on what is a definition of lucid dreaming, and that's what it is. It's basically where you can be aware that you are dreaming while you're dreaming. I dream like that. A lot of people do, and a lot of people don't. If you do, then you already know what I'm talking about. In this case, you can control the characters, the narrative, and the environment to some degree. I do this all the time. I can control them. The story takes place, but if I want something to change, I want to re- enter reaction or a specific action, I tell myself to do it, like run or jump or hit. And I kind of think about solutions as problems occur. And I say, well, what if I try this? Or what if I do that? Let's do this, then that. And I control it. I control the character. They have this cute picture over here on the side, so I'm going to scroll over there to it and look at this for that image. I just thought they were interesting images. They don't look anything like what I dream because my dreams look rather realistic, basic reality kind of dreams. So I just wanted to show that definition. The main thing I want to talk about is dream interpretation. Where this document is from is actually something I wrote because I'm thinking about writing a book about some of the things that I dream. Because my dreams are different. They are funny. They do things and they're real detailed. This is my file called Dream Stuff, and I'm gonna show you the table of contents on some of my dreams I've already written down already. All of these right here, like who stole the statue and Samoan are the same dream, but under different titles because I was testing, saving the software and emailing it to myself and then editing and emailing it back, but I haven't thrown away the second copy. And generally, when I write down the dream, I forget what happened. It just goes completely out of my mind almost until I reread it and remember parts. I have a dreaming preamble, which is basically the forward in my book as I want to write it. I want to get about 100 dreams written down, and then I might put them together and do something with them. But they've always amused me a lot. So I'm going to talk about the dreaming preamble and read this first. The dreaming preamble right there, and it says read this first. So let me find that. Here we go. Dream interpretation. That's one of the most important things you can do as a human being in learning about yourself and learning about what your subconscious is trying to tell you and what the spirit world is actually trying to tell you. You see, we're all connected actually. Everything, everybody, all levels are connected. Now, whether you are aware of the connection or not is a difference. The connection matters to you or not is also a difference. Now, I'm going to put this on pause where I try to clear my throat because I feel myself getting hoarse. So hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Now, one of the best statements about, and I'm just reading, one of the best statements that I have read about dream interpretation is to forget the books. Don't go by the meanings in the books, but do go by the meaning that the symbolism has for that specific individual. What I mean is that Depending on what's going on with you, that symbol or that item in that dream is going to mean something different. Just because a book says that to dream of snow means X, Y, and Z, that might not be for you. Like snow might generally mean cold and barren, but for you, it might be your favorite memories at your grandmother's house. Okay? So when you dream of snow, you're thinking of warmth, comfort, joy, and family. Somebody else dream of snow because they got stuck in an avalanche, thinks of danger and panic, fear, and all those things, and anxiety. Two different people, two different meanings. On this, what I wrote down there, for some, falling means danger, but for others, falling means freedom. If the person is a skydiver or a bungee jumper, falling means fun and freedom, not danger. If another person once fell out of a bunk bed and was badly hurt, then falling will always mean fear and danger for them. Okay? The same can be said for for fire, code, and for all actions and environments. Different meanings for different peoples. Go by what that symbol means to that individual, and then how they felt during that event. Once that rule is grasped, dream interpretation is easy. Yes, very easy. I can, you can, anybody can interpret dreams like the Dickens if they just figure out what the specific symbol means to that specific individual. Now, a lot of people don't dream according to what the books say is supposed to happen. I don't have any data on how many people actually do dream the way I do. I haven't met anybody else that does dream the way I do, but I have met people that don't fit the books. So I'm thinking that people like me or who have creative mindsets might just dream and have brains that are imaginative minds that function a little bit different. For example, I dream in color. One of the first rules I would say for my dream rules is forget what the experts say because they didn't interview me, so their thoughts don't apply. So my first thing is to talk about is that I do dream in color. I suspect a lot of people dream in color, but I dream in color most of the time. I've seen snakes that are all kind of colors like red and green. One snake was red, green, yellow, and black. It was swimming in water that was in a pool, and the water in the pool had these plants on top of it, these purple and green plants, and it was in those plants. And I was watching it swim, hoping it wouldn't come out the water because I was on the shore. I don't do swimming in public pools or stuff like that. I don't do that. Too gross. And so I wasn't getting in the water, but I was inside the fence where the pool was fenced in, and I was inside of there, and I was looking at it go in there, and I said, "What?" I was very. I wasn't going any closer with the snake in the water, let alone with those plants. So I was wondering which way to go. Making a decision, and that's all. I just remember that scene in the dream because there was so many colors there. The second rule is that I do read in my dreams. I actually do read. I read words. I read street signs, highway directions, book pages, movie credits. Like, for example, when a movie that I was watching in my dream ended, the credits rolled and it said the end at the end of it. I am various characters in my dream. I can be any age or gender or race. I've been men and women in my dreams. I've been children, I've been old ladies. Really, any various characters, and I have a good time being these various characters. The way I know which one I am is from my point of view. When I'm looking at it, like I see my point of view in reality or anybody's point of view, which is where you are looking from at the world from out of your own face. That's how I know which character I am because I dream in layers as well: the observer, the intermediary, and the character. So the observer is looking down at everything, and they can see the all the various characters, and they can see the character that I am, and and that's how I know what I look like because can see both perspectives at the same time, the third person perspective, the second person perspective, and the first person's perspective. And that's the best way I can put those. The observer would be the third person, the one that sees everything. The intermediary is the one that interacts with both of them, and the character is the first person layer. Now, for example, one of the characters I have that I talked about in my preamble of my book was that I once dreamed I was an older white farmer with wife and children. My wife and I were standing on our farm looking out over our barren, muddy fields, wondering how we would get through the next season. Another dream that I had was I was once a 9-year old cartoon white female with a little brother. Yes, I dreamed I was a cartoon female. I had brown hair and pale skin, and I had a little brown haired brother who was like 6 or 7. And what it was that he ran and he went through the bottom of a tree. You know how those trees have those little caves between the roots? Well, went in there and he went into the cave, but it went down into a tunnel into another land. Excuse me. And then I fell in right behind him. And then this man that was walking by out in the forest too, he fell in behind us and he went tumbling down the thing. And he had on this, he was Scottish and he had on that plaid skirt thing, but he didn't have on underpants. And when he flipped and flopped and he fell, we could see his rear end and we were laughing as kids. And I was trying to stop my little brother from laughing at this man's plight, but I was also tickled too because we could just see his behind as his skirt flipped up over his head. It's still funny to me. But anyway, I woke myself up laughing at this ridiculous man with a skirt and flipped up over his head. It was still funny. I don't know what was going to happen in the rest of the dream because I woke up laughing. So, but anyway, that's the kind of characters I've been in my dreams. And I'll come, and when I talk about my 7-minute dreams, I'm going to tell you some of the other characters I've been. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the layers of me in my dreams right here where my mouse is talking about that. And the first one to be the observer. I talked about that. It's the me that is conscious. It's the conscious mind that is watching the dream. This is me that is aware of the dream. It knows it's a dream, and although I don't know what's going to happen in the dream, it loves watching the show. It's curious. I make commentary and observations. I do. I talk to the intermediary in my dream. I do. I have a running dialogue inside of this dream as I talk to the intermediary. I'm curious. I'm asking questions and I'm clarifying all through the dream. It's a whole dialogue that conscious me, the conscious me that's in the dream observing that it's a dream. Okay. That's the one that I would call the lucid dream part. That's why I show you the lucid dreamer, because that's the one that would be doing it. And this is the one that would tell the intermediary to tell the dream character something to do. That, if it's a problem. That's why I don't have nightmares, because I fix it in the dream. I tell me to be able to do martial arts. I tell me to be able to whoop something, pull out a weapon, or and this conscious me will make the same decision I would have made if I could. And I said, okay, well, what if she got a gun? I do. I put them. I build my dream in my dream, and so I don't really have nightmares. I don't. I don't have nightmares. I don't wake up screaming and stuff like that because I done dealt with it. Before I was able to do that, I would just make the best solution I could of the problem because I still didn't have nightmares, although I might have a dream where anybody else would call it a nightmare situation. But I would be dreaming it as a bad situation, but I'm also dreaming of solutions for it and what to do about it. Once I dreamed that I had that my mother and I dreamed I had a sister and they were captured by the enemies, and the enemies wanted me to come out to surrender or else they were going to kill them. Right? My mother and my sister, they had them tied to a pole and they were going to torture them if I didn't come out. I had a gun in there and I was fighting off the enemies, but these two that my but the two people in my dream that I love the most were captured by the enemy, and the enemy had them tied up. Do you know what I did in my dream? I was preparing to do. I was preparing to kill my mother and my sister in the dream because that's the only way I could think to get out of it. And that's what I was preparing to do. I was taking aim. My heart was breaking, but I was taking aim. That's I needed to know that insight about myself. I don't know if I could actually do that in real life or not, but at the time in that dream, that was the solution. And it saddens me think that that would be to be put in the position to have such a solution. But in times like that, that would have been the only solution. I don't know what to make of that, but I still remember that dream, and I still can't think of another solution other than that at this time, because there was no other way, and it was the stakes were too high to go out there and surrender. I forgot what I was protecting, but it was something bigger than me and bigger than them. And so the only way to stop them and end their suffering, should there be suffering, would be to kill them in two quick shots before the enemy could harm them. Because I think that would have been a logical thing than to have them having prolonged suffering and still die because I wasn't going to surrender whatever it was. So kill them. And they were the people I loved most, and I knew that that had to be done. So that means that your dreams can talk to you. So my best solution would be not to get in that predicament, or at least try to avoid it. Okay. So anybody who's thinking of capturing my mother and my sister, don't. Fortunately, I never had a sister like that, and my mom has long since passed, so she won't ever be in that problem, and that because that would just totally break my heart. Okay, the intermediary. This one is, like I said, talks. It is between the observer and the participant. When I'm the observer, I have a running dialogue with that intermediary, and I'm commenting it like I do a movie. Say, "Ooh, look at that! What the hell? Well, what about this and that and the other?" And the intermediary interacts with the participant, and that's the character in the dream. It's a participant. So that is the me that is acting in the dream, the character that I am at that time, and that is from my dream point of view. Okay. Now the thing that's important too is that I do wake up to go to the bathroom and when I go to sleep. Everybody in my family does. None of us sleep through the night. Never. We haven't never slept through the night. I didn't know other people did until I grew up. So I wake up and my mom wakes up, my grandma wakes up, all of my aunts and uncles, we all wake up and go to the bathroom. I read somewhere or heard some expert say that that people don't wake up to go to the bathroom at night. I do. I always did. Everybody does. And over the years, when I have to go to the bathroom and I start dreaming about trying to find a good bathroom to go to. So it's usually in a public restroom where there's a whole bunch of stalls and none of the stalls work. So I'm going from stall to stall to stall trying to find the one to go to. And then finally I wake myself up and then actually go to the bathroom. And so yeah, so too dirty, no toilet paper, won't flush. And then I keep going. And then even I wash my hands and then I go back to sleep. And recently, I don't really want to get up to go to the bathroom, so I dream that I have actually gone to the bathroom and still going, but I still feel the urgency to go, but I can't finish going in the dream because I still feel like I have to go. So I use the bathroom in my dream, get up and wash my hands in the dream, and then realize I still got to go to the bathroom again. It's just a cycle until I wake myself up. It's hard. Now, I can I can interpret a dream, and I can interrupt a dream, and I can pick up where I left off. It's rare, but it can happen. If the dream is not finished and it's a good story, I can pick it up again, and I can do this at will. But I usually finish the dream in one setting. I do. But if it's a real good dream, like a great story going on, I mean, I be dreaming I'm in outer space. I'm on a spaceship. I'm on a sea ship. I'm a different kind of species. All kind of stuff going on. There's some things I don't even want to wake up and miss because there's some action in there. There's all kind of stuff. I had this funny Jurassic Park dream where I was me and my military unit, right? We were in the forest, as we always are in a military unit on some kind of bivouac or exercise. And we had these sea lions in cages in the forest, and they were just barking and whatever the noise is. And I felt a tremor in the ground, right? And I said, "Oh, there's a tremor in the ground." Nobody listened to me. Just a bunch of males and people working, and I observed it, and then I walked outside and looked at the ground where a puddle was, and it was just a, how that bounce is, and it makes them ripples when something heavy walks, and I felt another ripple, and I told them again. They didn't listen, and so next thing I know, I'm tipping away heading toward the city by myself. I hadn't decided to leave the premises because them tremors were getting closer and closer, and rippling and rippling more, and they still wasn't listening to me. So I remember tipping around the side of the building and creeping out toward the city on the highway, creeping toward the city. I mean, on the highway and heading toward the city because I could see the city lights down the hill. And I'm creeping on out. And I looked over far off on the other side there, and the only one I saw was a white female going in another direction, creeping away. And I looked over there, and we did make eye contact, but we didn't say nothing. We just kept creeping our different directions on the way. I woke up. I don't know what happened to the men that we left in the tent fooling around with the sea lions, but I was out of there. So that's the kind of things that I dream. So that was funny. To me, that's a funny dream. Okay. Now, several types of dreams that I have are in general that people have. Sometimes your subconscious wants to tell you something about yourself. For example, I once dreamed I was in a railway carriage. It was an open top single car. I was in the passenger seat. I was with a young man who was in the driver's seat, but I didn't want him to be in the driver's seat. So I made him get out of the driver's seat, and then I got behind the wheel. The young man was polite and silent, presence that complied with with my wishes. He gave no argument. He quietly sat beside me and waited. As I sat in the driver's seat, I looked at the long stretch of track in front of me, and then I turned and looked over my shoulder at the long stretch of track in back of me. Then I looked to the front again and then to the back. I did not know which way to go, or had no idea where I was going. That's what I did in the dream. I was looking back and forth, up and down the road, trying to figure out which way to go because I didn't know where I was going. But my message was that the message from my subconscious was that the tracks represented life. The message from my subconscious was about my personality and soul. The message was explaining to me my base personality. It was that no matter where or which way I'm going to want to be in the driver's seat of my life. This is a important message because I always need to stay away from a certain type of man, friend, or acquaintance. I needed to be able to do that to keep myself out of situations that I shouldn't be in. I need to be aware of that my base personality. And I'm glad I accepted my message because a controlling person, and I don't want others controlling me or having access to control me. So if I'm that type of a woman who's not going to want to be led by someone, then I need to stay away from men who insist on leading because they're not the right man for me. I look every day at women screaming in anger about the littlest things. And that's because they are already angry. They're already frustrated and bitter and enraged. That's why you see all of that rage of black women. It's because they are trying to follow. They're trying to follow when they don't want to follow. Then their base personality is not there. They're trying to fit. They're square pegs trying to fit in a round hole, and it's not them. But they don't know it, and the people around them I keep telling them that they're supposed to yield and submit, but that's not what their spirit says. So they're screaming. Their spirits are screaming, and I watch them. I'm just as mellow and cool and calm because my spirit's not screaming. I know where I belong. Not all women are followers, and not all women are designed to submit to somebody. That spirit in you, that's that warrior spirit, that rage spirit, is is crying and screaming and it's bitter. And can you see the life that that poor man has with the woman that's that enraged about where she fits in that situation? And it's not going to work. And so until we get that through our head, it's not going to work. We it's horrible. That's a horrible existence when you're forced to submit and you don't want to, and your spirit won't let you. So even though you're going through the actions, your heart is on fire and it's in rage. And that's what we're seeing out there now. There's no amount of pushing and peer pressure that's going to make that work. Only thing you're going to do is make them live in horror. And they are, which is why they're screaming and fussing and fighting and bitter and angry and volatile at the least little thing. That's because they were already angry. I've seen it. I see it all the time. I see utter bitterness. I wish I could help, but I can't, it's not my place to say. Sometimes I say something, but most times I don't. I, and we've all seen it. Our sisters are living a nightmare. I wish they had dreams that told them, to do what they need to do. And if you did have a dream that told you something like that, listen to it and just change your situation, or at least prevent the situation should you ever come to a crossroad, because that's what your subconscious is trying to tell you. Okay. Now, a problem solving dream. This is a dream that you're working on something and you don't know which way to go or what to do, or you don't even know how to do it. Your dream can help you with that. That's a problem that you can put on the back burner in your consciousness and let your subconscious work on that. It does that all the time if you let it. It will. Your subconscious will let you will do that. I'd be wondering about something, or wondering about a move to make, or wondering about a solution. And if I can't think of it consciously, I wait and let my subconscious work on it. And even in the dream, I'm saying, "Oh, that's what I can do. Why not think of that? Oh, that's that word. Oh, that's that thing." I do that in my dream. My dream works on it for me, and I let it. Okay. Other things like I'm thinking about. Easy one is like right here where I said, for example, I have been wearing my hair natural for several years. I liked it natural, but I had been thinking about changing to a perm. I was not sure how I felt about straightening my hair. Then I dreamed that I did get that perm, and I hated it. I hated it. I was so mad. I was fussing at myself in the mirror and wondering how long it would take before I would have to before I could cut it off and start a new growth with my natural hair again. So that ended that perm speculation for me. Thank goodness. That's exactly what happened. And I never look back. The prophetic dream. This is a dream where you might dream of some actual future event. Pay attention to those big time. Pay attention to those big time. Pay attention to those big time. I cannot stress that enough. These are warnings. I know to heed them, or I know that I will wish that I had. These dreams are extremely rare, but and I think most people do have these types of dreams on occasions as well. Okay? Pay attention to those. I had to take a sip of my tea, excuse me. Pay attention to those. And sometimes you dream visions. That is something, some circumstances or situation that you can't interpret at the time, but you see um, something that would trigger and it all falls into place. That'll be my oblivious coon dream, where I had dreamt it about 6 months before I figured out what it meant. Basically, it means that there are black people in the black community who aren't going to be helpful in moving us forward. And in fact, even though they don't mean any harm, they will either A, impede your progress, or B, get in the way. And we're going to have to deal with that, okay? Figure out what to do about that, because they are a part of the problem, because we can't go forward unless we deal with them. Figure out something to do. Then finally, there are dreams for dream's sake. These are the most common for me. These dreams are mostly stories of some sort. I may or may not be in the dream myself, but these dreams are fun to watch. Okay? And they are fun to watch. I have dreams that are in the same settings often. I often dream that I'm on a highway going somewhere specific. Now, it's twisty, many ramped highways. The cityscape is cyan and um, I want to say umber. It's sort of like a sepia or umber, somewhere between sepia and umber, raw umber, a brownish color. It's the color of Georgia red clay. You ever seen dry Georgia dirt? And it's sort of that reddish color. Between that color and a light brown. So, and it's cyan too. The color of cyan is mid-level cloud. It's a bluish color. Uh, Cyan is bluish looking. I'm gonna see if I can see cyan on this color chart here. Give me a second. Nope, sorry. Let me see. Well, maybe. Let me look at that again. Cyan is similar to this color right here, and it's got top turquoise. Let me see if I can see it, a better version of cyan and more colors. Cyan is right there, that color, right there. Okay, and my cityscapes is these colors right in here. That color, that's what color the sky is, and the dirt is this color. These three colors right in there, mostly these two, that one and that one. Those are the colors. Huh. Okay, so those are the cityscape colors, and the color of the highway. They're grayish and greenish, and they just got highways and roads all through there. And I drive, and I might get off at this theater place, and or else I might get off at the shopping area, or else downtown. But it's the same city, okay? The same city and the same highway. I'm just going different places on it, on the same place. So it's weird. But I dream of that other area all the time. I've gone shopping in there, um, various things. And I can tell you which dreams took place in various places in that area. I've interacted with the vendors and salesmen. I've gone to the bathroom in the theater place where they have an amphitheater, not amphitheater, but a regular theater with stadium seatings, and it's got a cinema on the top floor. So you leave the front parking lot and you go up the steps and you go to the cinema part on the top floor. But on the bottom floor, you have two entrances on each side of the stairs, and these are wide stairs. And you go in there and you go into the clubs in the bottom. So you got two clubs on one side and two clubs on the other side. The bathroom and the dining area, excuse me, is toward the middle side. In the You go into the middle part in that little space, and it's real specific. You go out the other side, and you got the sidewalk in the parking lot out the other side. And I've been to at least two dances in the club, and I've been to a banquet in the banquet hall on the first floor. I've been to two movies and a speech in the upstairs, and I did something else to the other side. So I go to that place all the time. It's weird as heck, and it's even got a marquee out front. Now another setting is a military base-like place. It's got sandy soil. It's got um, buildings, dorms, cafeterias, sidewalks, streets, dumpster, parking lots, all of that. Okay? And I've been in various places in there too. And these are the same places. And we've already talked about dream interpretation and how that's important for you to look at the symbols of your own dreams and figure out what they mean to you. That's a major part of what I had to say about the dream stuff and how you ought to pay attention and not to try to fit in when the books don't apply to you. Now let's talk about a dream or two. I'm going to go to simulated Navy humans. This to me is a hysterical dream that I had. And this is one of the first dreams that I started paying attention to because it was just funny as hell to me. Simulated Navy humans. This is the name of the class that I was late for at a college I was going to in Japan. I never wanted to go to college in Japan, but I'm late to my simulated Navy humans class. Okay, so let me talk about the dream because I wrote it down. I was dreaming that I was trying to find my class. I had enrolled late. This class had already started or was about to start. I had only just got my schedule, so I was running, wandering all around campus trying to find this class. No one that I asked knew anything. I was lost. Finally, I found a posted college campus directory. I looked at the directory, then I looked at my schedule. If I could see the class location, I could locate it on the directory, and then I could find my way. I was scrolling down my class schedule listing. I found the course title. The course title said Simulated Navy Humans. I stared at the page. I was stumped. I woke up. I dreamt this in 2005 and I still laugh. And I'm still stumped. At work, I wrote down that name of that class and I kept it on a sticky note in front of me so that every time I saw that I would giggle, and it just kept me giggling, all day because if I got irritated or frustrated, I'd look at the name of that class and I'd have to smile because it was still funny to me. So, yeah, simulated Navy humans. That was on the schedule in my hand. And it still cracks me up. Yeah, and I have no desire to go to a class in Japan, but I was late to that class. And often I go in over the years, I dream that I'm either in a class and getting ready to take a test and don't know what the test is about. And or else I'm getting ready to try to go to school and can't go there because of something or another. But I learned from my dreams from previous dreams, okay? So recently I knew that I had to go to school in this dream, right? But it was the day before. And so I said in my dream, let me go to bed and get prepared now because I don't want to be in class and not know what's going on. I said that in my dream. And then the observer said, ha ha ha, at least you're learning from your other dream. So my dreams even build on each other, okay? Because I wasn't going to be late. I was going to start preparing the night before. What's puzzling is that the other night I had a dream that me and a whole lot of other family members were getting ready to take a trip. And we were preparing. We were going to go that day, but then we decided to go ahead and get a night's sleep and go with the next morning. So my uncles and aunts and family and friends are going to take a road trip somewhere that we wanted to go. And I think of that as a black family. Because I said, okay, there's a girls' room over there. I can sleep over there in the girls' room, and the men are going to be sleeping right there. And so I'm wondering if I should get up at 5 o'clock and go in and take my shower, or should I take my shower and stuff tonight and get all packed up? So looks like we're going to change. There's transition in getting ready to take place among the black family, I suspect. And we were all on the same page and preparing to go. Okay? So looks like we're in transition. Something, and we're going from one state of being to the another, and we're going as a group, and it's going to be people that we like. That's what I just dreamt recently. Okay. Oh, yeah. One of my first dreams that I paid attention to was me walking in a college campus, and I was coming through a front door of this big old open area. I forget what they call them. A big, it's not like the size of a cafeteria, but it's just a big old, it's not an atrium, but it had a side door and a door that I was going to and another side door. So I came into the door that I came into, and I was going to walk across this big old floor, big old open area floor, and go through the other side, which led to the hallway where my class was. Oh no, actually I wasn't going to the class. I was going to go through the hallway and go out the other side of the door on the other side of the building. Meanwhile, a white male who was an older gentleman, he was like I think I was about 35 or 40 when I had that dream, and he was about middle age, late middle age to older, a little bit older than middle age, or just at middle age. He had on a hat and he had on a satchel, big old um, wide brim hat with a satchel over his shoulder. And he came into the side door, but he was pacing himself to wind up at the same door I was going to, and he can block my way. He was walking slow. I was walking fast. I was walking fast, but I had a greater distance to cover. So, as he was walking his speed, he would be positioned to be directly in front of me and force me to walk at the speed he wants to walk, which was very slow. So, instead of me getting on where I'm going, I would have to walk slow at his speed. Can you see where this dream is going, right? See, can you see the symbolism in that dream? Because I can already see it. Okay, so this is an older white male. He would look like he would be considered a professor, but he's just pacing himself to be directly in front of me by the time I get to that door. If I speed up, I look like I'm running, and in the dream, speeding up wasn't an option, and for some reason, or even slowing down. And so he was pacing himself to do that, to be in front of me and block my way, and I could tell that's what he was doing, and he knew it, and I knew it. And so when he did get up there, and he was at the door, because the pathway that I had to go through was partially blocked by a white Audubon that's just beside the door in that hallway. So there was going to be a narrow path where I couldn't walk beside him and go around, and I couldn't do anything to get past him because I was blocked by this white Audubon, and I couldn't do anything about it. So it was just enough room for one person to go through that door, and get past and go through the hallway. Now, so when I got up there and he was indeed in my way, and he was indeed creeping along at this pace that he decided he wanted to go, and the Audubon was definitely blocking my way, you know what I did? I got up on him and just one hand pushed him right on top of the Ottoman and kept going. And as he's flailing and falling all over the Ottoman, he says, "You are a evil, evil lady, or a evil, evil woman." I didn't even acknowledge him. I just kept going right on out the door and on my path. Do you see all the symbols in that dream? The one that you probably didn't get was that a white Ottoman was a white female. Circles in symbolism generally mean female, where linear things and squares mean male. But circles mean female. And since it was a white female, I mean a white Ottoman, and it was very white, round Ottoman. And yeah, it was a big one too. It was a white female. So that was a symbol for the white female, and that he was a symbol for the white male. So he couldn't go fast as I was going because I was covering a lot of, I had to cover three times the distance at my pace to get to the door at the same time he did. And he was a little bit closer to it, but he was going so slow that he would be there right at the time I would. So we're black people. I symbolize black people. He symbolized the white male and white people in general. So he was there to block my way, and she was there to ensure that he blocked my way. But me being the revolutionary minded person that I am, I shoved him out the way and kept going. That's me. That's what my personality is. That's my approach. And he flailed and he got up off of her. I don't remember if I said excuse me or not, but if I did, I didn't mean it. Because I did. I shoved him on top of her. Fortunately, it was only a dream, but that's what I did. Okay? So that's white male, white female symbol in my reaction. I have a what I call the unhappy with the system dream. I dreamt that I was a person that was working in a big old compound or house, and I was a servant there. But somebody had snuck in there, two people had snuck in, and I saw them, but I didn't let on that I knew about it as they were doing stuff all around the house. I pretended like I didn't see a thing and didn't know a thing. And even when they looked for them, I casually blocked their way so that they wouldn't even see them, even the people that were trying to find them. That's when you know you're unhappy with the system because you're undermining the system. So that could be any kind of system. It could be where you work, where you where your house is. It could be anything, but you're unhappy with the system when you dream that you're undermining it and not doing what you can to help them stay where they are. Because I wasn't helping. I was helping the other guys in my dream. Now, my 7 minute dreams. These are what I call my 7 minute dream because that's how long it took. In dream time doesn't apply like real time. You can have a full lifetime in a 7 minute dream. 7 minute is because that's how long it actually took. These usually happen on a Saturday morning when I go downstairs and make the breakfast of my dreams. That is when I make a full southern breakfast like bacon and eggs and toast and maybe grits or oatmeal. And I call it the breakfast of my dreams because that's not usually what I eat because I don't usually cook breakfast like that. I might make one item or two items for breakfast, but this one, when I make a full breakfast and I eat it and then promptly go into a sleeping coma because I ate some oatmeal or something fattening and I have a coma as I sit in the chair and go to sleep and I nod off. And the dream that I have from when I nod off until I wake up is approximately 7 minutes. And so these are my 7 minute dreams, and I'm going to tell you two of them. One of them I done nodded off and I'm going to sleep. And I dreamt that I was running across the water at an ocean. It starts off with this plane in the sky, right? And it's got all these other planes around it. And I had just got dropped off out of the plane and now I'm running across the water to get on this ship. And as I landed, as running across the water, and I said, "Oh, I'm on water. Who am I? Who am I this time? What do I look like?" This is my conscious mind thinking, trying to figure out who I am in my dream, right? Because I don't know. And so I looked at the reflection in the water and saw that I had hair or tentacle like hair that stick out. And I had a really lean body as I'm running. I said, "Ooh, a super ninja spy. Nice." That's what I said in my dream to myself as I observed the shadow of my running body running across the water. I would thought it was a cool super ninja spy. Nice. And so I ran and got on the ship and I ran into the bottom of the ship, right? And I'm hiding and creeping and stuff, and I love it. Okay. And jumping around, doing all kind of stuff. And then I'm creeping and I said, aha, they do have the turbines. And then I looked down the warehouse in the bottom of the boat and whatever the thing is where the bottom of the boat is where they got all the stuff at, they got turbines. They're sneaking the turbines. Mind you, I don't know what a turbine is. Not really. But if I were to describe what I was looking at in the dream, these would be like um, the housing for a timing belt in your car. How it's got that little housing on top of it, and it's got the belts and those, and so it had two belts that are spinning with each other, and it had about 13 of them. So I'm hiding and creeping and spying, but they have the boat had robot drones that look for spies and stuff and patrol. So I'm hiding from the robot drone. And I said, uh-oh, I wonder if he can sense sense heat. So I did my little thing to cloak my heat, but I'm wondering how to cloak my breathing because if he saw me breathing, he'll still see me breathing hot and cold air. So I'm hiding, and I woke myself up. But that was a cool dream. And the next one is called the displaced person dream. Okay, I done fell asleep again, and this time I done landed in a body, and that's the only way I can put it, where I'm sitting at a different desk, and I'm getting ready to go somewhere with the family. I'm female, and another female is in the other room, and another female stepped in the door and said, "Get hurry up and get ready because we have to leave." Apparently, something dangerous was going on, and we had to leave so we can go travel, like we were going to be refugees or something. So we just taking a bag or something, and I didn't know where I was and what I was supposed to be doing, but I had the bag there, so I just picked it up and picked up what looked logical because I didn't belong in the body in the dream. Okay, I downloaded into a different person's body that I didn't know nothing about what was going on, but I was aware that I wasn't supposed to be in that person, and I was aware that I'm a different person, so I'm just trying to take up the slack until I can get back to my own body. Okay, a little kid came in there and he was talking to me, and I was explaining to him that in a little while I'll be back to the regular person that they know, but right now I'm not her. Tell me what I need to take and do and what you're doing so I can do what you get things done until she gets back in her body. So the little kid helped me, because I explained to him that I wasn't really me, and I closed the door and we all packed up our little stuff and we were going down the stairs. And then I uploaded back out again. And I hope that the other me that's in that story did everything okay. Okay, because I wasn't really me in that body. I was a whole different person in a whole parallel universe that I downloaded into. And I knew it, so I had to explain it to somebody that could help me um, um, hold the fort while this person was out of her body. Okay? I don't know whether that was a dream or not. I I know that in this world I was dreaming, but I suspect that I might have actually downloaded into somebody else's body temporarily, another me at a parallel universe. Now I have these funny can't wake up dreams. Okay, this is how you cycle and you think that you woke, but you're not woke. And then you think that you woke again, then you're not woke. But then you think you woke up again and you're not woke. And I would be laughing hysterically at myself, figuring out that I'm not awake yet. And at about the second or third cycle of it. And in the dream that I'm dreaming that I'm awake, I'm looking at the room and one time I looked at the room and I said, "Oh, it's got that crooked file just like it do when I'm awake on the dresser." Oh, that's so funny. It's got everything. My dreamscape has everything like it would have been if I was awake, and I was laughing at it because as I cycled through it, it cracked me up. So those are the kind of things I dream. I hope you think are as funny as I do. And so maybe at some point I might tell you some more dreams that I had. Like enlightenment in the can is one of my favorite, all time favorite dreams. And it's one of my dreams where I was on the aircraft. I'll tell you the first part of it. I got like 4 minutes. Okay. Enlightenment in a can. I had this dream back in 2005 and it's still one of my favorites. It begins with me walking onto the information desk on the spaceship. I walk out of the sliding doors toward the information desk, to the information clerk. It looks sort of like a hotel reservation desk. There are schematics and astro navigational stuff on the walls and windows. The desk clerk starts explaining the pertinent information to me. I think to myself, this is a good time to ask one of my most important questions about the universe. So I ask, what is beyond the universe? What is beyond infinite? And mind you, that is one of the most important questions I ask all the time, and I try to figure out myself. And so I felt like in this dream it'll be a good time to ask. So that's what my observer told me to ask, have the character ask. So I asked, and she pulled up a diagram. On one of the big screens, she showed me a graph. She said that what is after this universe is another universe, and so on, etc. The graph showed a lot of bubble shaped circles. The bubbles were all in lines above, beside, and below each other, as far as the eye could see, in all directions. They called it a multiverse. I understood that. It all made sense. I was satisfied. In the dream, it was absolutely satisfactory. I got my answer. I was happy. In the meanwhile, Star Trek's Mr. Data was in his office. Okay, so I will stop right there because that's it. Well, actually, I can go ahead and finish it, can't I? Yeah, okay. Let me go ahead and finish it. Yeah, that's the end of it. In the meanwhile, Star Trek's Mr. Data was in his office. This room is off to the side of the information desk. He was at a computer terminal making a report to headquarters. He was holding an aerosol can. He was explaining that the people on the planet he had been studying all had canned enlightenment. You get one per person. This can will still last you your whole life. Each time you need more enlightenment, you spray a bit on yourself. No one can use another person's can. Each person is issued one can, and he was issued a can. In this culture, they had enlightenment in a can. There were cans and cans of enlightenment. Data finished his report and walked away from his computer terminal. The dream ended with headquarters trying to steal the can off his desk. There was an I would say electrostatic hand coming out of the screen on the computer, reaching for the can. I woke up and cracked up laughing. I still laugh at this dream. Isn't that hysterical? That to me is absolutely hysterical. Enlightenment in a can. And it's a data had that enlightenment in, and it was just an aerosol scan and one per person, and it lasts you your whole life. Because if you're enlightened, you don't need to steal because you're too enlightened to steal. You don't need to do anything, and they just spray this one can of enlightenment, and you are enlightened. So, uh, that's how my brain works. It's a dangerous place in there. So that's my enlightenment in a can dream. So yeah, I'm gonna write a book. I have to at some point. Yeah, I'm at right at an hour, so I'm gonna sign off now. There are other dreams, and if I get a chance to, I'll go ahead and tell some more, some silly stuff. Especially sometimes the dream just wants to show a movie. This was a scary vampire movie that's hysterical. Okay, I'm not going to tell it this time, but maybe at some point I might tell one or two others. To me, they're hysterical. I'm sorry. That's just funny as hell to me. Okay, bye bye. Thanks for listening to me. Bye.